Hello, everybody. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. I know we have a lot of people joining us from around the world. So welcome to this very special webinar brought to you by the VoiceOver Network and Source Elements. It's all about celebrating women in audio. So today we have some amazing women in audio that I'll be talking to. And just hoping that my dog stops shouting downstairs. Sorry about that. He's very excited. People who know me know about Nemo, my naughty beagle, who chooses the best time to shout. I'm hoping my kids are going to grab him in a minute. But yes. So yeah, thank you everybody for joining us today. It's really exciting to be able to bring together such an incredible group of women and talk about women in audio. And we're really celebrating International Women's Day, which is actually tomorrow. So we thought we'd just kind of kick things off today. Or if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, then maybe you're already into the Friday day already. So yeah. Okay, kick things off. I'll just tell you who I am. My name is Rachel Naylor. I am a voice actor. I have been for over 20 years. I'm editor of the Buzz magazine, producer and director at Elements Demos. I'm CEO of the VoiceOver Network. I'm a multi-award winning entrepreneur. And most importantly, I am also mum to two beautiful girls. So there's a fair amount of juggling that goes on in my life, but I am passionate about helping to empower voice actors and women to follow their dreams and do a job that they love. I understand challenges as I'm also an MS warrior. So yes, there's a few things going on there. But right, I would like to introduce these incredible women that we have joining us today. I'm going to start with the CEO of Source Elements. Sorry, the CEO of Source Elements. Hello, Rebecca
Hi, Rachel.
Wilson.
Hello.
Hello. I'm going to introduce you. So, Rebecca is a composer and programmer. As a New Zealand native living in the Northern Hemisphere, Rebecca understands very well how important it is to be connected, even when separated by oceans. There is no excuse for creativity to suffer just because of where we are in the world. Rebecca is a powerhouse in the industry. She is the CEO of Source Elements, and with a background in composition and programming, Rebecca has played a pivotal role in developing industry standard audio remote recording software. She's incredible, guys, by the way. Her mission extends beyond technology, advocating for inclusivity and supporting underrepresented individuals in music technology. Rebecca's expertise and passion make her a sought after figure in the voiceover landscape. Welcome, Rebecca.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Rachel. It's very, very lovely to hear that.
Oh, amazing, amazing. I feel like we need to have like a cheer, like woohoo. But thank you. And it's great to have, the VoiceOver Network and Source Elements teaming up to bring everybody this webinar today. So we had a chat a few weeks ago and we were like, yes, this is what needs to happen, celebrating women in audio. Okay. So next up, Heather Rafter. Hello, Heather. So
Hello from California.
hello. Wonderful. Yay.
We
So
actually have rain here, which is unbelievable.
oh wow. Wow. Gosh. So Rafter Marsh, US founder and principal lawyer. So you've been providing legal and business development services to the audio, music technology, and digital media industries for over 20 years as founder and principal. With over 2 decades of experience in providing legal and business development services in the audio, music technology, and digital media industries, Heather is a seasoned expert in entertainment law. Her commitment to supporting content creators and developers has cemented her reputation as a trusted advisor in the industry. So great to have you here, Heather.
Thank you for the beautiful write-up, Rebecca, and so thrilled to be here. Thank you, Rachel.
Yay, excellent. Wonderful. Good to have you. So, Lisa I've written it down wrong now. Lisa Machu?
Mahach.
Mahach. I did write Mahach. Lisa Mahach. We did go through this before, guys. But Lisa Mahach, Omni Sound Project CEO, music consultant, and producer. So Lisa is a music consultant, producer, and the director of Omni Sound Project, an inclusive community for women and marginalized genders in audio engineering. Through her inclusive community for women and marginalized genders in audio engineering, Lisa is dedicated to fostering collaboration and empowerment. With a knack for mentoring and community building, Lisa's passion for music and mentorship shines through everything she does. So welcome, Lisa.
Thank you. And I want to shout out the Omni folks that are in the chat.
Yay. Oh, wow. Look at the chat. It's going crazy. Wonderful. So lovely. Yay. Right. Moving on. Next up, we have Tina Pozic, who is
Tanya.
Tanya. What did I call you, Tina? Tanya. I need to put my glasses on, guys. But I'm going to put my glasses on for reading these things so that I make sure that I don't mess this up. Tanya. So Tanya is Women in VO founder and voiceover artist. She is a versatile voiceover artist who specializes in bringing scripts to life with her dynamic vocal range in English and in Spanish. Tanya is the founder of Women in VO, a supportive global network for women in the voiceover industry. Through her global network, Tanya has created a safe and positive space for women in the voiceover industry to connect, share experiences, and support each other's growth. Tanya's unique background in dance and choreography brings a fresh perspective to her voiceover performances, making her a standout figure in the industry. Welcome, Tanya.
Thank you, Rachel.
Yay. Okay. And next up, Anna Shabrowska. Did I get that right? Yay. Anna. Yay. Welcome, Anna. So Anna is a music software engineer and researcher. Anna is a trailblazing music software engineer and researcher with a passion for merging music and technology. With a wealth of experience in developing leading products for music production and live performance, Anna's expertise is unmatched. As a co-organizer of programming initiatives and a PhD student exploring musical self-expression with machine learning, Anna is at the forefront of innovation in the industry. I'm excited to hear more, Anna. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rachel.
Excellent. Excellent. And next up, we have Alex Jones. So Alex Jones, from working in dialogue as post-production lead at Liquid Violet. Don't you dare. He's got his lead on now. Right, you're not going to misbehave, Nemo. He wants to be part of it. Sorry about that.
Let me see the dog, please.
You want to see him? Oh, I'll
Yes.
show you a sec. Right, well, actually, do you guys want to see? Who wants to see Nemo? He's very, very naughty. A minute, there he is.
Oh, Nemo.
Look at that face. Oh, you want to be on? You want to be heard? He says, yes, I do. That is Nemo, everyone. Okay, back to introducing. He's a boy, so he doesn't really fit in to our fabulous Okay, Alex, from working in dialogue as post-production lead at Liquid Violet to founding her own independent game studio, Silver Script Games. With a deep-rooted dedication to the games industry, Alex's work spans from dialogue post-production to founding her own independent game studio. Her accolades include being selected as a BAFTA Breakthrough and winning prestigious awards for her contributions to games audio. Alex's passion for connecting through games and audio makes her a standout figure in the industry. Yay, welcome. Excellent. Right. And last but not least, we have the fabulous Jazzy Frizzle. Jazzy is a passionate voice actor who brings stories to life through her voice, while also co-founding Voices of Colour, an organisation that promotes diversity in voice acting. With a background in theatre, choir and improv, Jazzy is known for her energy, advocacy, and enthusiasm in the voiceover space. Also, being a mother to 3 girls and having a supportive husband, she displays that you can somehow juggle wearing multiple hats in this industry. Welcome, Jazzy.
Thank you. Thank you. So happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, so good to have everyone. And I can see the chat is going crazy, which is wonderful. On what I normally ask people to do is tell us where you are in the world. So I'd love to see some of your comments of where you are in the world, everybody who's watching. Let us know. We've got all, I know we have people from all around the world. I know I had messages from people in New Zealand who are going to be logging in. So yeah, wherever you are in the world, let us know. It's great to see. Okay, fantastic. So moving on with this webinar, lots of wonderful things to discuss. Today we're going to talk about how women have impacted and made groundbreaking changes in the audio industry. The importance of women's voices cannot be overstated. Diversity of voices brings richness and depth to any field, and audio is no exception. Women bring unique perspectives, experiences, and talents that enrich the creative process and broaden the scope of content produced. Okay, so Rebecca, how are you doing?
Doing great. Thanks, Rachel.
So lovely to have you here. Shall we start by talking about the positive things that you have seen or that you're seeing happening in the audio industry?
Absolutely. We were chatting earlier, or I was talking with some friends, and a very important document came out recently that shows that in music engineering, which is the world that Lisa is in deeply, there's 3% women music engineers, producers, which 3%.
Wow.
It's and my response to that is right, because only men listen to music, and we know that's not true. I've been to concerts all over the world thanks to Heather, who drags me everywhere, and we know women love music. We love listening to music. We love thinking about music. We love writing music. We love singing, and so there's something going on there. So the positive part of that is we're seeing a lot of scholarships. We're seeing a lot of allies saying, let's be part of solving this. We're seeing a lot of vocal actions like this. This is just one thing, like, this webinar, us talking about this. I think what will come out after this webinar is a big list of opportunities that women can follow. All the mentoring that you can find, all the scholarships you can find, all of the allies that you can talk to. And I'm really, really excited for the future for young women coming into the industry today. They're going to be able to access it in ways that we could not. And I know Lisa and I very much agree that, especially in music, it's up to us to make it more accessible for those who are coming up today.
Definitely, absolutely. And I'm such a big believer in helping people, on the ladder. It's that thing of, that's why I started the voiceover network, was because I knew how hard it was to get into the voiceover industry. And so I wanted to create a safe place and help other people so they didn't have to go through the struggles and things that I went through. And and I love that, we're all here supporting each other and supporting strong women, and that's so important too. So yeah, absolutely. Wonderful. And Jazzy, what about you? What positive things are you seeing happening in the industry at the moment for women?
Yeah, so kind of similar to what Rebecca said in terms of having panels and discussions, because I think, especially in the voiceover world, it's one of those things you don't really think about it being a career until somebody throws it in your face, or you come across like, oh, somebody gets paid to do that. And so seeing companies and like producers and studios hold educational platforms like panels or classes, direct marketing opportunities, because as voiceover is becoming more diverse, we still see where we're lacking. And in terms of women, like, we're finally getting into the promotion, the promo space. And now, even now with trailers, it's still a very heavily male dominated part of the industry. And
Yeah.
so just seeing those producers that are like, you know what, I'm going to throw in a couple women when I send these submissions in, it a little goes a long way. So I think
Definitely.
that's really important. It's the education behind it all.
Definitely. And interesting you brought up the trailers. And amazingly, all trailers were voiced by men up until 2000, when Melissa Disney was the first voice actor to voice a trailer for Gone in 60 Seconds. And that's just crazy when you think about it. How amazing, like, mad is that? I definitely think, we need, it's about the behind the scenes as well. It's really about the producers and the writers and making sure we have women in those roles, so that they want to be, they're kind of fighting the fight for women. We need to have women voicing trailers. It's just
like Rebecca said, not only men watch movies. So
yeah. And actually, when you think about it, the women are the decision makers in the house. So it just, it makes more sense. Anyway, so fantastic. Well, good, all good. Right, next up, Lisa, what about you? Do you want to share your kind of insights into positive things that you're seeing for women in the industry at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing the growth that we've seen and the number of organizations that are dedicated to this in the last 4 years. When the pandemic started, I think there were a handful of us, and now there's just so many, and I love to see that. I think what I'm looking for next is the representation behind the scenes, instead of necessarily taking artists and putting their face on marketing materials, things like that. We need to get, like you said, producers and people behind the scenes that are making those decisions now, because the statistic that Rebecca quoted of 3%, that's award-winning producers. So the actual number of producers is much higher, female producers, and we don't see that because the people who are choosing the award nominees are not necessarily women. So I think we need to look now on that level of people who are making those decisions and start to diversify those places. It's automatic. The second anybody who's been marginalized is included in a decision-making panel like that, inclusion follows. So we're definitely on the right path, though. It's been really, really fun to be a part of this.
Brilliant. Oh, fantastic. Wonderful. And Tanya, what about you?
Well, jumping on, what everyone said so far, one thing that I think is so important, like Jazzy said, it's, seeing people do your job more and more. And with that, I want to bring up the power of social media. I started Women in VO during the pandemic, and I try to be as positive and light as possible on our Instagram, but also it's there to share people's work. And the hashtag Women in VO did not exist prior to 2020. And now there's thousands of tags. And it's just so crazy to me because, first of all, if you did do this job, prior to the pandemic, it felt very insular unless you did some sort of group job, which, didn't always happen. You weren't always in a space with a group of people doing voiceover for something. A lot of people work from home, or a lot of people do, you would go into your recording studio, you might interact with your engineer, maybe a director. So it feels like we're together, and community is just so important because you get to see other people and what they're doing, and when you see another woman win, you go, I can win too. So I think that's one thing that's just so lovely to see, and I know that sometimes social media can be a drag, but I think there's so many positive things that also come out of that. And also you can discover how to do that thing, it's like if you want to be a sound engineer, if you want to be a voiceover person, well, you can follow someone who does that, and you can even actually reach out to that person, which is absolutely insane to me in this life. So
Definitely. I love that. I love that. And you're totally right. And interestingly, so I started the voiceover network. Well, gosh, the actually infancy was 2013. So that was a long time ago. But the voiceover network probably launched 9 years ago. But I started it very much on social media. And I'm a real social person. And I love talking to people. So I really jumped into social media early days. And it is, you know, and I know there are two sides to social media. There is the negative side, but you can choose to walk away from that, guys, and just not engage in it. And there is so much positivity and wonderful motivation and inspiration on social media. And the fact that, yeah, you can connect. And, you know, I have so many friends all around the world who are in our industry, and I get to connect with them through social media and stay up to date with what they're doing. And I think that that's really powerful.
Yeah, and one other thing I think that's so important is that we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier before we came on, is that there's also a power to connect with younger girls.
Yeah.
Whereas when I watched, obviously, cartoons when I was a kid, I didn't realize that that was something that I could do,
Yeah.
you know? So to be able to see the women who voice your favorite cartoons on social media and be like, "What? That's a real job? I can do that?" It's really great. And Google,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It is. I mean, I definitely think I love being a voice actor, and I often tell people it's the best job in the world. Very grateful to do it. So yeah, good. Excellent. And Anna, what about you? What's your kind of insight perspective to the positive things you're seeing?
Right. So since I guess I'm here to represent the audio developer network, I'm going to focus on that. As an example of the positive change of like women joining the community, I'm going to give an example of the main conference that's happening in the field, audio developer conference, and both Rebecca Wilson and Heather Rafter have been involved with it. And Heather, do you remember when we met at the conference for the first time? I believe it was in 2017. There were like 5 women, and we all just went to have dinner together. And now it's very different.
Full on embrace for a small table. Yes,
exactly. So that's how it started. And last November, the conference was much bigger, and I would not be able to count the number of women who were there. Of course, there were still like significant minority. Let's say there are still not so many. There's still a ton of work to do there to encourage people to join. But we have seen a positive change there for sure. But that said, that there have been a lot of initiatives helping people get into the field, helping women get into the field, helping them advance. My community, Dynamic Cast, also has been actively trying to teach people hands-on skills through our workshops. But that said, I also have an impression that this has led to the situation we have now, where when you see a woman in a professional context, it's still sometimes assumed that she's probably a beginner or a unicorn. And I think we need a lot of women in like being like mid-level or in leadership positions to change this, right? To change this idea. So I'm very grateful to have here, for instance, such a role model as Rebecca Wilson, who's like a CEO, right? Who's CEO of her company. Sorry?
I think we all deserve the right to be mediocre, so maybe I'll start.
Exactly. Well, exactly. That's also this. I remember actually saying that, and my friends would laugh at me when they were trying to be like, "Oh, you're a woman in tech, and you're not a beginner. You're great." I'm like, I was like a mid-level at the time, and be like, I just want to be exactly that. I want to be mid-level, and for that, to not surprise anybody, to not be any special. It's just that's just it, right? Just assume I'm here to do my work. I do it fairly well, and that's it, right? but still, I completely, I'm gonna just echo what everybody else has said. It's very important to have role models, to imagine that this is a career that's possible for you, and yeah, just increase the visibility. So again, we've been now focusing, especially within our programming group, to actually help people develop the skills necessary to bring them to higher level and advancing their careers, because I think that's what we should be focusing on now.
Definitely. Fantastic. Yay. Excellent. Wonderful. And Alex, you work in, the video game industry, which is very male dominated. Yeah, what are you seeing, kind of positive things, and what's your perspective on it all?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, it was the same. When you look at the player split, it's almost 50-50, but then the developers, it's really not. And I think when I first started in game audio, there was something like 6% women in game audio, which is a crazy disparity, and it's slowly climbing up. But I think I was looking at figures because I've started my own company, so I was interested in how successful that might be and like raising money. And the figure was that women were getting 0.02% of what male founders got in terms of investment, which like blows my mind because it's crazy. But the positive thing is that we have a scheme called Innovate in the UK, and they gave 5 female founded companies quite a lot of money in the most recent round, and I was one of those. And so there's lots of like little things that make a difference to people, and it may just be that one thing that sets your career in a totally different direction. And I probably wouldn't have thought it was the kind of thing I could even do, like being a business owner or anything like that. So I think the positive to take away from that is when you find some small pot of money or someone who kind of shows you like you can do that, there's a whole world opens up there.
Definitely. Nice. And on that, I just wanted to kind of say, there are so many women out there that are ready to help other women kind of coming up the ladder. So, always, those who are watching, don't feel shy, reach out to people, to women, who you see doing stuff, and ask for help. I think that's really important as well, because I know I've done that in the past, and sometimes it can be scary and it can be a bit like, but we're all we're here to help each other, and yeah, it's an amazing industry, the audio industry, and I think it is a very supportive industry. So yeah, cool, good, excellent. And Heather, how are you doing?
Whoa. Happy to, last but not least, right? On this group. Yeah. Hi, Rachel.
Hey.
So my background's a little bit more if you're going to in pro audio. So I just want to first to give a shout out for what you and Tanya are doing, because I wasn't aware of Women in Voiceovers and the Voiceover Network, and that all of you, I just want to say so positively, I love learning about the voiceover industry, and that you guys are literally making female voices heard, right? Like, it's incredible. So I just want to say this is fantastic being included. Sorry, I have a little bit of a cold right now. Apologize about my voice, but would you like me to talk a little bit about pro audio and echo what Rebecca has said? So I just want to first maybe take a step back and say, I'm slightly older than some of you. That's all I'm going to say on that topic. And so when I first went to prep school, and then I went to Princeton and Columbia Law School, I was always like in the first 10 years of women at these schools. And it's just amazing that most of you don't have to be in those first. Like, it was exciting to be, in the first group of women to do this and the first group of women to do that and to graduate from law school. But that's crazy, isn't it? That in my lifetime, I had to be one of those first, right? So someone said the greatest thing is when we no longer count first, like one of the first women in gaming. And so I am really happy to see now that that's not really the case anymore. I think those barriers have been broken somewhat. And so now we can be in the middle, as Rebecca says. We don't have to have that feel that we need to be the first at everything. We want to stop counting how many women are in these professions, right?
Yeah.
We just want to be accepted for being a really good lawyer or a good person in the pro audio industry and not always be identified as a woman. I'm really looking forward to those days. And I think we've made huge strides. For those of you listening, I'm loving these comments. For those of you listening, I just wanted to give some resources for the pro audio side. And that is, we already mentioned Women in Audio, which is part of the Audio Developer Conference, which is how I met Anna and I think Rebecca, and encourage you to get involved in their scholarships. There's the Women's Audio Mission. There's Sound Girls. There's She Rocks, which many of us have attended, and I'm on the board of She Rocks, which is the Women's International Music Network. I think I mentioned NAM. If you want to get training, I'm a huge supporter of Claire Global and Rock Lidditz. They have amazing educational programs they're launching and scholarships, and have attended the conference at Lidditz. And they really are working hard to get more women learning how to do the most basic skills and rise them up and get them out on tours. So you might start soldering, you might start in the middle. You got to learn that stuff first. One of the things I admire about Rebecca is she knows every aspect of her business. And but they'll give training and help people get out on tours and in live entertainment, which is such an exciting place to be. And there's other scholarships for audio production. So feel free to reach out to me, and I'm glad to give you information. And NAM and AES, the two big conferences in our industry, are so supportive of have separate events for women and encouraging. And the Grammys, I'm a member of the Academy, and just so much opportunity. And you just reach out, and it's fantastic to see this. So just I will give you more information, but that's my partial list. Did I leave anything out, Rebecca?
Well, we could have a webinar just about Heather easily, but I'm going to talk more about her later.
Oh, thank you. I began, by the way, as the general counsel of DigiDesign. Is anyone old enough on this to even remember? You might know Pro Tools. Pro Tools began with DigiDesign and then became part of Avid. So back then, it was the newness not only of being a woman at a tech company, but also launching digital audio. So it's fun to break down barriers. It's fun to do. And I'm so excited to see the next generation, all of you doing that.
Definitely. Definitely.
Okay, I got to mention I have 3 kids too. All right, that's somehow because balancing it all, I hope, is a topic we'll talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do have many hats. I think as women have more hats, let's be honest, than men. And there is a lot of juggling, work and home life and kids and, lots of us here, have multiple roles. We all have multiple roles, and that's a challenge. But also, people often ask me how I do what I do, and how I manage to do so much, as well as juggling health challenges. And my answer to that is that I absolutely love what I do. And I think that that's so important, to follow your dreams and do what you love. And so, for everybody listening, do follow your dreams. You've got a panel here of amazing women. Reach out to us. And I think the world would be a better place if more people followed their dreams and did what they love. And what's great, the world that we're living in at the moment, is that women, there are opportunities for women. And yes, we still have to break down some barriers occasionally, and make our voices heard. But it's amazing to do what you love, and we can have a family and be a mum and be an entrepreneur and be a friend and be a daughter and be a mother and be a sister and do all these incredible things. And
talented pianist, Rebecca, really, you should hear her play the piano. It will dazzle you.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, we would love that. We should get you, out on the.
Come on, Rebecca,
piano.
a little music right now.
No. I want to hear from Jazzy, because she's someone I don't know here the most. I'm really excited to hear more from her.
Yes. So Jazzy, what about
No pressure.
and you know, obviously diversity is so, you know, we're talking about women, but getting voices heard, and you know, and I do think Disney are doing amazing things in diversity, and I think that they're incredible because they really are pushing the boundaries with their movies and with their casting and representing underrepresented groups. But what? Tell us more about what you're doing.
Wow. Great. No pressure again. But no, it's just the ultimate goal in voice acting in terms of diversity is just to have the character represented spaces look like how the world looks like. And there's so many different cultures and genders just mixed in the world. It doesn't make sense that diversity in the media space is like very, very low. And so we work a lot with starting with advocating for authentic casting, just in a sense of let us play our own stories, because no one can tell it like we can. But also keeping in mind that the world is open. So you don't have to have a dedicated character design and specifically cast a diverse person. You can make the character after you cast the person, you know? And it's just about dispelling a lot of the biases that come with gender and ethnicity. You know, we all don't sound the same. There's no monolith in diversity with ethnicities, cultures, and everything. And so I think it's the biggest challenge. It's definitely a challenge, but that's what we're aiming to do. And we're trying to do that by getting behind the scenes, getting more people behind the scenes that understand that know what to look and what to ask for when they're casting for something very specific, or leaving it open. And we just don't want diversity to be an afterthought or make it forced. It's just we're everywhere. And so I don't know why that can't be shown in media.
What are the
Absolutely.
positive sort of things you've seen that have really helped with this? What are some action that has been taken that you've been involved with it a lot?
Oh gosh, yes, a lot. Again, 3 kids, how do we make it happen, right? But us specifically, Voices of Color, we started off just as a resource for talent of color, so that they would be ready for these opportunities that come across their way. Affordable education, networking events, and just getting people's foot in the door. And then now we're expanding to try and educate those behind the scenes, the gatekeepers of these jobs, of like, hey, this is how you would cast this, or this is what you would ask for. We're actually partnering up with NAVA and the QueerVox database and the Disabled Voice Actors database for best practices for authentic casting. And I'm really excited. That's going to be coming out really soon. But it's just about it. Usually, if there's any sort of ignorance or just not knowing, it's just a lack of education. And so that's what we're trying to do the most, is just educate behind the scenes, because that's where it starts, and that's where we have to move forward from. So
definitely. Fab. Well done. Amazing. Sounds like you're doing amazing things, and we need to talk and get you involved in the VoiceOver Network.
Let's go. And I mean, Voices of Color, we also have a database of voice actors of color, and so
Brilliant.
you ever need help, or if you need consultations or don't know how to ask for a specific diversity group, we're here. We're here to help. It's I think one of the biggest things about advocating for diversity, even in just like advocating for more women in a space, is that those on the other side of it feel like they're being attacked. And it's not that. It's just education. That's it. We're just opening a dialogue, having a conversation, but it's hard to overcome and have that conversation if the majority feels like they're being attacked for being in that space. So we're trying to find avenues of having that conversation as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. And education is so important. And, you know, it's something we do a lot of courses at the VoiceOver Network. We do a lot of workshops And for us, we really want to find those groups of amazing, talented people who don't know how to get into voiceovers, and maybe because they come from a tougher background, and they are struggling, and they're in this world, and that's it can be a vicious cycle when you're in poverty, or what I mean, you're in a tough time. For us to be able to kind of go in and show people that actually every voice matters and every voice is beautiful. And that's the thing. And before we went live, guys, there was some discussion about sound of voices, and I think it's really important for people to love their voice. And it makes me sad when people say that they don't like the sound of their own voice, because your voice is just so beautiful, and it's such an important part of you and who you are and how you express yourself and communicate. And the fact that we're now hearing these authentic castings, authentic casting is so important, because it means we're hearing accents and beautifully different characters, and characters that young girls are being able to connect with and say, oh my God, mummy, she looks and sounds like me, is amazing. I think it's really fantastic.
Yeah. And when you're saying that, like, it applies so well to what Alex is doing, for example, with games, making games that have women's voices, or making music produced by women with their own authentic voice. And we're getting some amazing music and art and creativity coming out in video games and films, and it's really beautiful to see that the younger women are able to feel strong enough to be able to put that out. I'm sure there's a lot of reasons why. Economies as well, we have a distribution, independent distribution. I'm sure that's a reason to it as well.
And on that, I was going to say to Alex about the video game industry, and we're seeing more and more strong female lead characters in games, and on TV, in films, but in games, it's really exciting to see lots of strong females that are the central role in games.
It's a really cool time to be in games, because it's got to a point where the software is so accessible that almost anybody could jump in it and tell their own stories or make a game. And even kids are like learning things like Scratch and visual programming. So that's the new generation of people. It's not just like AAA companies with billions that are making the next Call of Duty. No shade on Call of Duty, but there's so much diversity and variety to be had from anyone. Like you say, if you're in poverty, at a point, once you can access a computer, you can pretty much make a game, even if it's just like text-based or with some dialogue recording, whatever. Like it's all so accessible. I think it's the same with audio technology to some extent as well. It's a lot more easy to get your hands on stuff now. So I'm happy to be in this time.
Definitely. We do live in a time where it doesn't really matter where you live, or what your upbringing is, or your social standing, or your what your parents' kind of financial situation is. Gone like 100 years ago, we were born into a world, and we were that, what I mean, you were sort of, you were pretty much stuck in that world. And whereas now, through the fact that we can connect through social media, the internet, we can train with people around the world, and there are so many inspiring leaders for us to look to.
I think there's more opportunity for social mobility, perhaps because of technology.
Yeah.
I know that that's not to not recognize the disadvantages that you have, and like even being able to afford a computer is probably not an option for many teenagers in poverty, but with the education systems, they have access to those things. And so they have different sets of challenges, but I think it's more and more open to be able to do those things. But role modeling is the really key thing for them to be able to think, I can do that, not just think that's not for me.
Alex, you're absolutely right. Like, my children are so aware of the free resources. You can get Khan Academy or Coursera, and I'm sure there's other resources for training in the audio industry and voiceovers, like you can literally scour the internet and find free classes on topics to expand your knowledge in podcasts that are relevant.
Yeah.
So I love that social mobility angle.
Definitely. And we do a lot of free stuff at the VoiceOver Network. So do, if any of you are watching this and you work in voiceovers or want to work in voiceovers, please do come and check out the VoiceOver Network. We have a lot of free resources and we do webinars, and we're actually, I'm going to let you know, we're going to give everyone who's watching this a free month access to the VoiceOver Network, and also a free 3-hour online workshop with me. So anyone who's watching this who would like to come and join the VoiceOver Network and get some training with me, a 3-hour online workshop with me worth $299, all you need to do is go to the VoiceOver Network website and type in go to the Aspire level of membership and type in the coupon code VON Empower. So VON Empower. And I know Lisa's watching, so she could put the link in for everybody. But yes, everybody who's watching, you get a free month to the VoiceOver Network and a free 3-hour online workshop, which is worth $299. So it's pretty good. But I just want everybody who's watching, anyone who's watching this who would like to, come and try the VoiceOver Network. We've got lots going on. So there we go. So I dropped that in there, guys. I can see lots of people are happy.
And I think most of us, I know my firm does, we take on interns. We're happy to mentor people, informational interviews. We all give back because we stand, what's the expression? We stand on the shoulders of other women who have done that for us. Yeah. And men. I want to also mention, I've had men who have been incredibly supportive mentors as well. And so just don't hesitate, because we did not get here on our own. We got here by other people helping us.
Yeah, it might be a good segue to the next section, Rachel.
Yeah, so inspiring women. Was that the one you wanted me to bring up? Yes. Excellent. So yes, so I'd love you, wonderful, amazing ladies, to share someone in your industry who inspires you, or someone that you has really motivated you and inspired you on your career. Shall we start with Lisa?
Yay, I'm excited to share because I think one of mine is here. I chose 2 women in audio engineering who are linked in my mind because of a similar quality that they have, which is that as they got older and went on with their careers, they did have to retain a growth mindset. The industry changed around them. So many things changed around them, and they both just learned and pivoted and just became new experts in new fields. So I'm going to shout out Lenice Bent, who's here, and Susan Rogers. So Lenice started off in tape audio, and then when the digital age came along, she didn't shy away from learning something new. Imagine, in your career when you're already established, this huge, very, disruptive technology comes along, and a lot of people said, no, we're going to stay where we are. And she just learned basically an entirely new career. So I love Lenice. And when we're talking about people who are willing to share with younger generations, she's never, ever said no to me in terms of helping and presenting to the OmniSound Project community. So, and then Susan Rogers, similarly, she had a career as an audio engineer. She was Prince's engineer. And then when she was, I think, 50 years old or so, she went back to school and got her doctorate in, I wrote it down, music cognition and psychoacoustics. And she got really into learning about how the brain processes music and wrote a book on it, in fact. And so these 2 women, to me, are just such inspirations because of the growth mindset and the willingness to share and support other women.
Amazing. Yay. I love that. Incredible. And Anna, what about you?
I wanted to give a shout out to my one of my PhD supervisors, Rebecca Fabring, who is an absolutely fantastic and incredibly accomplished academic and computer scientist. She focuses in her research on music technology, interactive tools for live performance, and like using artificial intelligence for that. And what I also adore about Rebecca is that she really questions status quo within the industry and academia as well. So she's like, yeah, with her work and her lectures, she just like goes out there, shares her expertise, and just very unapologetically just questions the habits that are very ingrained, but maybe should be questions. And I really love the vibe. So she's such a role model for me. This is great. But also personally, she's a very kind and incredibly fun person, and very supportive for everybody. And she's such a magnet for women. Also, she's a role model for everybody. And last term, she organizes these weekly meetings where people she supervises or works with join and share their progress. And last term, there were women only in this very male-dominated field, and that felt so refreshing. It felt like, wow, this is great. And I thought, yeah, we've made such progress. This is fantastic. And then I went for a meetup in a different university and got like, disillusioned again. But but this feels great. We have our safe space. Yes. Of like absolutely badass women sharing their innovative research, and I think this is incredibly inspiring. So yeah, shout out to Rebecca. She's amazing. Please, everybody, check out her research. I love reading her papers.
Yeah. Awesome, fantastic. And Rebecca, what about you?
I have three. Just going to touch on quickly. One is our new president of the Audio Engineering Society, Leslie Gaston-Bird. I need an hour to talk about her. She's extraordinary. And the fact that she's now my president, something really important happened. It became normal to be a woman in the Audio Engineering Society. I can't tell you how nerdy that place has been for at the beginning of my career. I was just like, oh no, I'm not having anything to do with that. I didn't even imagine I would belong. But over the last few years, certainly also what Heather mentioned, a lot of allies, a lot of male allies have been, pulling us in. I suddenly feel like I walk around this conference and I'm completely a normal, which is what I just said. We just want to feel normal, like, oh, it's not unusual. And so thank you, Leslie, so much. She also just posted for the Women's Day a list of all the groups out there. That's gotten really long, includes some of what Lisa and Heather did. I'll put that on the YouTube link afterwards. You can see it's a great long list. The other person who's been really important to me is a woman called Elisabeth Schimanner. She's an Austrian composer. And when I met her 20 years ago, we were talking and she said she's just going to start something because as a composer, you notice that there's almost no books written about other women composers. Women composers did not exist. Historically, most people could not name another woman composer. Unless you are a composer yourself. And so she said, well, then I'll just write the books. And so she started writing about women composers, her contemporaries, and she did a series. I was very honored to be one of those. And so she just went and did it. She's like, I'm not seeing it in the world, so I'll make it happen. And then the last one was about her, thank God, because it was like, of course, she needed to be in it as well. And so she taught me that you can control history. And that's something important for our daughters and our granddaughters. So that's important there. And then the person who really inspires me so much is here, Heather, just to say in person and to tell the world, because you need to know her. She's one of those super connectors. She knows every woman in the business. And Heather isn't just friendly, but fiercely supportive. And she introduces me to everyone she thinks I need to know. And she does this for everybody. And I was trying to think about what is it about Heather that is so special. And unlike me, and I'm trying to learn this, she does not ask for validation from the world. So she carries something inside her that is already validated. I don't know what gift that is you have, Heather. You're very lucky to have it, but I'm learning it from you. I'm stopping to ask for permission from the world to exist as a woman in the audio industry. Thank you.
Yay.
It's really being empowered and held up by so many people that brings the confidence. So I think I'm almost going to cry. So I'm going to try not to. Thank you, Rebecca.
Oh, that was so lovely. How beautifully said. But I'll give you a minute, Heather, before I come back to you. I was going to jump to you, but I'll go to so Jazzy. how about you?
Oh my. So first off, Karin Gilfrey, who does a lot of work with Nava, like she's amazing. Everything that she's been fighting for in the voice acting space in the industry has been like props. Because it is a lot to shoulder. But outside of Karin, just seeing, especially highlighting like Cree Summers, Mara Juno, Deborah Wilson, being a Black woman, again,
Deborah's
like
amazing.
Deborah's fantastic.
I love
She's
that
a
woman
powerhouse.
so
Oh
much.
my gosh.
Yeah.
But just seeing as a Black woman, again, realizing that this is a career you could have, seeing somebody who looks like you in the industry, but then also just seeing Black women exist in a space, not highlighting being that they're Black, just killing it across the board, just booking because they're talented instead of just being tokenized in the industry is fantastic. And it definitely inspires.
Nice.
Inspired. So shout out to
them. Oh, fantastic. And Tanya, what about you?
I just want to shout out some close friends, but also to all the women in VO community who inspire me every single day. Like, students, people just getting into the industry, people who have decided to come back to this industry after many years. I hear these stories all the time and I go, holy, it's so amazing that you stopped and decided to follow your dream. For whatever reason, maybe they strayed off the path and decided that they just wanted to come back to it. It's super inspiring to me. But I wanted to shout out my friend Suleika de Siga, and she's super amazing in the Latina community. And I love talking. She's a powerhouse. She's so funny. She's just someone who uplifts, and also my friend Kirsten Day, she co-owns Sound On Studio with her husband Steve, and she just really is a ray of sunshine in the voiceover community. The way that people come into our classes at Sound On and feel accepted and not judged. I feel like that's so important for women in the community. I see a lot of groups often try to downplay women's questions or minorities' questions, like, "Oh, well, it's on Google, didn't you try?" And these are people who will like actually answer your questions, because it's not that easy. They want your opinion. I love to give my opinion versus trying to shoo people away. And so when I see these two women, not only are they're multi-hyphenates, they're actors, they're running their business, they're moms. And I'm just like sitting back going, you're amazing. And like Jazzy said, Cree Summers, she's my favorite. She's amazing. Never met her, but she's just, I admire her work so much.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, I love all that. Brilliant. And Alex, what about you?
Yeah, I kind of have two, I think. When I was a student, I was I studied music tech and then music composition for my master's. And so I was originally like, going to do music, be a rock star, whatever it may be. And then I found video game music, but I struggled to find many female composers. And like you said, even in the curriculum at university, and this wasn't that long ago, there was literally not many female composers talked about, but we did bring that up and they changed the curriculum. But that's, I don't know, not that long ago, 5 or 6 years ago. But one of the people who I really liked was Jessica Curry. She's a really amazing composer for games, and she's won BAFTAs for her score for Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. But the thing that I really love about her is how authentic she is, and she is quite a personality, and she talks very honestly about her experiences as a woman in the industry. And then she was quite a figure for championing game music to be recognized as a form of classical music, and so did the first Classic FM show about game music. So she was my first one. And the
That's really
second,
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, she's so good. And Kirsty Gilmore is our voice and casting director, and she's like a powerhouse. I love her, but she works so hard to cast the right people for the roles. And we're a tiny indie game, and we're working with some really difficult topics, and I appreciate the weight that puts on a voice director to deal with things like abuse and direct the session and deal with your own personal and all of that. So I think we do a good job of making sure the voice actors are taken care of, but it's because Kirsty advocates for them regularly. So yes.
Amazing. And I do want to just tell everybody about your game, because you sent me the promo for your game, and it made me cry. It's so beautiful and incredible, and I'm really excited that you're making it. Can you tell everyone what it's called?
Yes, it's called The Quiet Things.
So check it out when it, keep an eye out, guys, because it's going to be a beautiful game, and well done for sharing and doing something so vulnerable.
Thank you. That's so kind.
Yeah, excellent. And Heather, what about you?
Still recovering from the kindness of Rebecca.
Oh.
I just first want to probably give a shout out to, I suspect most of us had strong mothers in our lives who gave us the vision to move forward and shaped us in whatever way it is to take the paths to forge ahead. And I also, excuse us, it's embarrassing to be on a voiceover and have a bad voice with all of you. And also to my daughter, who it's crazy and wonderful and empowering to see her generation and how they're moving forward with greater confidence, I think, and not being the first and just navigating and not thinking you have to be subservient and not thinking you have to be obsequious, just boldly going. So she's in her 20s, 24, and I just really want to give it a shout out for what I'm learning from her. But the two women, and this was not planned, the two women, and picking up on a phrase that Alex used, that I want to kind of compare quickly because I know we don't have a lot of time, and give an enormous shout out to, because they inspire me so much, is Rebecca and Ivana Manley. I don't know how many you know Source Elements, and Ivana Manley runs Manley Labs, which if you don't know, they make vacuum tube audio gear, everything from Voxbox to microphones. I was just at the Sphere. Voxbox is used on Bono's vocals. She's an incredibly powerful, wonderful woman. And the similarities why I picked these two is they are both incredibly authentic. They're authentic in how they dress. We didn't talk about that. You should see Rebecca decided to be the boldest dresser I've ever seen at NAB, I think it was at the conference. Van is totally authentic in who she is, Ivana Manley, known as Van. She rides motorcycles. She's just who she is, and so proud about that. And both of them give back tremendously. Ivana won a She Rocks Award. Rebecca obviously is doing this. They're just so authentic. They run companies. They both have backgrounds in music. Rebecca in music composition. Ivana graduated in degree in music from Columbia University, an Ivy Leaguer. And they took that passion to channel it into running companies, and each of them know every detail about their company. Van has given me tours of her factory. She knows everything about how the products are manufactured in this factory in Chino, like every little detail. And the same is true of Rebecca. She knows about coding. And the last thing I wanted to say is I've seen Rebecca mentor women around the world. She makes a point of hiring people in the Ukraine, not just because they're women, but they happen to be women she hires, but because she knows that's the best way she can give back, and hiring Ukrainian engineers. I've seen her on calls, once again, tears, right? Very emotional conversations. How are you? How are you doing? She checks in even when I don't want her to check in on me. Heather, are you okay? I know things are rough right now. Are things good? So, and I just went on a trip with Ivana. So the bonding these two women provide, not just to me, but to many others, and their knowledge as CEOs of companies and their authenticity, they deserve a major shout out.
Oh, yay. I love that.
Thank you, Heather.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. And thank you, everyone. So I'll throw mine in. In terms of in the industry, someone who has inspired me is Jamie Sparrow Roberts. And she is an incredible casting director who has worked for Disney and she cast all the Disney movies, Frozen, Moana, Encanto, some incredible movies that have represented so many different ethnicities and so many strong women. You know, Frozen is such a incredible film because it really shows strong women not having to rely on a man. You know, and that's and I love that, you know, it's about sister love, as opposed to being kissed and by a man and, you know, magically coming back to life. So Jamie Sparrow Roberts is one of mine, and she's a wonderful woman who I reached out. I always thought she was like this, oh my God, totally out of reach. I would never, you know, be able to contact her. And I reached out to her, and she was so generous and so kind, and came on our podcast, and we've become really good friends. And she then, without asking, went on to recommend me and the Voiceover Network to lots of casting directors, including the casting directors at Pixar, who then I've become friends with. So she was generous with her connections and just such a genuinely lovely person. So she is one of them. The other person I wanted to kind of give a shout out to was Selma Blair. I think Selma Blair, you know, yes, she's an actor. She's done voiceovers. She is an incredible inspiration to me, as I have MS. And we were diagnosed at around the same time. And she just saying her name kind of makes me feel emotional, because she's such an inspiration to me and to so many. And she's, you know, really getting the word out about MS, and awareness, and showing people that no matter what, you can go on Dancing with the Stars. I mean, my goodness, what amazing. So that's my second one. And my third one, she's not in our industry. She wasn't in our industry, but she is somebody who I'm not sure if I'd be doing what I'm doing if I hadn't found out about her. So just a quick little story for you guys. My aunt was diagnosed with terminal cancer, which was devastating. This is years ago, long time ago. And my other aunt decided to do the family tree, you know, as a kind of nice thing, you know, and we found out that my great grandmother was a woman called Mary Sumner. And in 1876, she started an organization called the Mothers Union. And back then, this was, I mean, it was incredible what she did. She brought women together in the church of all different classes. Again, this was not done. You did not bring women together. You did not bring women together of different classes. This was it was absolutely groundbreaking at that time. And her mission was to get the woman's role as a mother to be respected and on a par with a man going to work. That was her mission. And it just, whenever I'm having tough times with my business, I think back and I think, my goodness, what that woman must have gone through and the challenges she must have gone through back then. You know, it's just amazing. And that the organization is still going today, and they've got, I think, 4 million members around the world. So that has been a massive inspiration to me. And I think that's really important for us all to feel like. And I think I love being a voice actor, but realizing that I can help other voice actors on their journey and empower them to follow their dreams and do a job that they love, which then the ripple effect of that, you know, the butterfly effect of that is so incredible. And I've always sort of felt I want to leave the planet better than when I arrived. And that's, you know, my mission with the Voiceover Network is empowering people to follow their dreams and do a job that they love. And so there we go. Wow, what an incredible webinar, and you are all amazing. And it's just been such an honor. I know that everybody watching, I mean, it's difficult to see all the chat going on. Thank you everybody for joining us from around the world. Do connect with us all on social media. We're all on social media. LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok even. I don't know how I'm on TikTok. I'm trying to get all that sorted, but but just know that you are worthy and you are enough, and that there are incredible, people out there and organizations and communities out there to help you on your journey. And it's all about us coming together and supporting each other and uplifting other women in the industry.
Heather made a very good recommendation if we end by sharing what brings us personal joy and mental health beyond this amazing moment.
Yes.
Thank you, Heather.
Yes. And just before we quickly jump into that, I do want to mention again, just, there is this offer, Von Empowerment, guys. If you want it, go to the VoiceOver Network and you get your free month and all that stuff, and a free workshop, free 3-hour workshop. So yes, great. Okay, so Heather, do you want to jump in and lead that question?
I would. I first didn't mention the shout out of the incredible woman in my law firm, Jessica and Nikki, and other interns who support me and give me joy, because I couldn't do this job without them. So I want to mention them, but I'm about to run off to yoga. And I find that my one tip for everyone is you have to find a source of stress reduction. And so whatever it is that brings you joy, for me, it's going to concerts as well. I go to at least 1 or 2 a week, kind of awkwardly wonderful. And I do yoga every day I can. So that brings me joy, besides all of you incredible women out there who have supported.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Yay.
Namaste.
Oh, excellent. And Jazzy, what about you?
So one thing that I didn't express, I have a 1-month-old, so I just had a baby. So
congratulations!
Keeping the postpartum at bay is, always a challenge.
Oh.
But I love going to the movie theater by myself. There's something, watching movies alone. I love to travel, so just going out and like eating and things like that. That's how and taking naps. Naps are very, very nice.
Yes, I love naps too. Definitely. Excellent. And Lisa, what about you?
Well, I just want to tell Jazzy you should come to Austin, because the Alamo Drafthouse Movie Theater has Baby Day. And on Tuesdays, you can take your baby and they can make all the noise they want and you get to stay. So it's the best.
Yay.
I'm in.
Awesome. Let's see. Oh, I coach musicians too as a project manager, and just helping them kind of get music released and websites built and things like that. And the number one thing that I actually start with is just like your survival basics. Like, make sure that you have a safe and healthy home, make sure that you have income that's coming in from something other than your art or your side hustle. If you're not quite there yet, get those basic needs met. I've had an experience recently where my housing has come into question a little bit, and I'm just like completely unbelievably stressed out. And like, it just is such a reminder of how big of a gift that is, that I take for granted, that those basic needs are met. And so always, if you're starting for rock bottom, that is the first thing to get taken care of before we tackle anything else. So just a reminder on how important that is.
Yeah, definitely. And Alex, what about you?
Yeah, I think live music and games are the main things that I like. I go to a lot of live music, rock, orchestra things, whatever. Just find a random cheap show in the back of a pub and go, because you never know what you're going to find. Like, I love those moments, and especially on your own as well. Like, I just pick stuff and go. It's great. Recommend it. Do something random.
Yay, excellent. I love that. Wonderful. And Anna?
My brain likes novelty, so I think that helps me disconnect a little bit and just experience something new. Many times it's just going to see a show, a live gig, a jam session usually can surprise you a lot. So I'm a big fan of these, and I go to a lot of experimental gigs, which sometimes is a lot of noise and unpredictable sounds, which I find weirdly just pretty deeply emotionally validating. So that's that I like. That helps. So yeah, I feel like when I feel validated by art somehow and I connect with it, I think that helps me a lot. So I try to also go to art galleries and engage with visual arts that also does a similar thing. So that helps me a lot. And also walks in a park. I think greenery is underestimated. Like it has a massive calming effect on me. So I'm like I really enjoy living next to a big park in East London. And I also have problems with how maybe I will have to move, but I'm not looking forward to moving away from a big park. And before I let go, I just wanted to say that Jazzy, I don't know how you're doing this. You're 1 month old and you're just like great, sounding great and empowering everybody. I mean, like, I'm in awe. I don't know what it's like, but this is incredible. Okay. Thanks.
Oh, amazing. And Tanya, what about you?
I'm a person who also likes to do something a little physical. I'm not a great napper, so I long walks as well. And I like listening to audiobooks. I'm en route to listening/reading 50 books this year. So squeezing it in whenever I can is fun and relaxing for me, and dancing around the house. That's just, I love doing that. And also going to concerts. I love doing that too.
Excellent. And Rebecca?
I live with a Spanish man, so when I cook, he's like, that's not cooking, because I'm Anglo-Saxon. But on Sundays, I like to just spend hours in the kitchen. I don't know what I'm cooking. It doesn't matter. Maybe it's food, maybe it's not. But I'm not at the computer. I'm listening to some music or some podcasts. I'm just standing up, I'm being active, and it's that disconnect. Long walks is great too, but Sundays, me in the kitchen by myself, no one's allowed in. That's a great way to just disconnect. Love it.
Yeah. Fantastic. Wonderful. And mine, dancing and singing around the kitchen with my 2 girls is definitely the best that I love, and our house is full of singing. But the other thing that I feel is super, super important, and I honestly think it saved my life after my diagnosis, is meditation. So meditation, guys, is so powerful and so amazing. And if you haven't tried it, give it a try. There's lots of ways that you can do it with, lots of different apps and guided meditation, but just taking that time to center and breathe. And because there's so many things around us, so we're being told things, and there's so much demand of our attention, and just taking that time to go within is so important. And we can do a lot of healing to ourselves. So that's my little thing. Meditation. If you haven't done it, go give it a go. Excellent. Right, guys. Well, that rounds us up.
I think. Did we miss
Alex? Did I miss Alex? No, I didn't miss
no,
Alex.
I said do a random concert.
Everyone's been.
Right,
everyone's
random.
been.
There we go.
I've kind of so I've got to run and take my girls to singing lessons. So that they can get out there and sing their little hearts out. But it has been amazing. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. It's really been wonderful to speak to all of you incredible guests, and thank you, Rebecca, because it was me and you who kind of we came together and were like, right, we're going to do this thing, the voiceover network and source elements. We're going to come together and share this webinar.
We need to thank Kike, because he made me reach out to you. I was like, I'm busy, I know it's important, but I'm busy. Thank you, Kike. Kike, you made amazing human being.
Our superstars behind the scenes. And I'm going to give a shout out to Lisa as well, who's in the chat. I know she's answering your questions, guys. So Kike and Lisa who make things happen. Thank you. And thank you to all of you guys for coming on to this webinar. It's been really lovely. I wish we had longer. We'll have to do another one where we can delve deeper and find out more about all of your amazing lives and the things that you're doing. But wonderful. Excellent. Well, thank you so much, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
So much love.
Thank you.
Here's to celebrating women in audio. Have a wonderful International Women's Day, everybody. And feel free to come connect with us and on social media and see what everybody's up to. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.